Ladies and gentlemen, October is here, which means only one thing: Halloween videos. Yes, it is that time of year again. Time for videos about the spooky and the scary. I think both of those are the same thing, but whatever, you know what I mean. All videos this month will be Halloween or horror themed. Today we're going to be going to the 90s to look at something interesting. It's a Halloween special from a popular educational show of the time.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip with a friend? No way!
Yes, I am sure we all remember this 90s educational classic. In case you don't know, Magic School Bus was an educational show that started airing in 1994. The show followed Miss Frizzle and her class as they would travel in the Magic School Bus to teach kids about the wonders of science.
Yes, science!
They would do things like go to space, go inside one of the students' body, go into beehives, and so many other things, all using the magic of, well, the Magic School Bus, which has the power to transform itself into whatever the need be. Like, if the class needs to go underwater, it transforms into a submarine. If they're flowing down a river of lava, it will transform into a raft. If the class needs to dig into dirt, the bus will give itself a giant drill. Possibilities are absolutely endless. Each of the students in the show has their own personality. For example, Dorothy Ann is the smart one, who likes to do a lot of research.
And according to my research, bacteria are germs.
I swear to God, he says that so goddamn much it just makes you want to go up to her and just start yelling.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
There's also Ralphie, who is the athlete, Phoebe, who is the shy one, Wanda, who is the group's badass, who basically does anything any sort of fear, Tim is the artsy one, Keisha is the more level-headed one, and Carlos is the class clown. But then there is the most iconic student of them all, the anxiety-riddled wimp himself, Arnold. Arnold is the only one who seems to see what Miss Frizzle does as basically insanity.
I can't stand it any longer. This whole plant is insane! Insane, I tell you!
And let's be honest, it kind of is. If somehow in real life this shit was going on, there would be some kind of investigation, just saying. But yes, Arnold is the pussy, but he does one kind of badass and yet fucked up thing. He literally offs himself just to prove a point.
Yo! Yo, holy shit, he dead! Oh, he dead for sure! Miss Frizz, you are a bad teacher! How are you gonna afford to go on all these school trips after the lawsuit?
Anyways, with that out of the way, I think that explains the show well enough so I can move on to what this whole video is about and why I am talking about it during Halloween. Well, on Halloween in 1995, a special episode of the Magic School Bus aired. The special was titled A Magic School Bus Halloween. In this special, they actually show two episodes of the show, which are titled In the Haunted House and Going Batty. However, this episode starts out with a live action segment, which is honestly the whole reason I wanted to review this, because the live action moments are pretty bizarre. The live action segment starts with these three students, one of which is actually played by Arnold's second voice actor, Danny Tamborelli. He was also on the hit Nickelodeon show All That. The students are walking around a scary museum trying to find their class who are camping out there. However, lightning strikes, scaring the two boys and causing them to run away. Just then, they hear a creepy sound and the one kid goes to follow it and falls down a tunnel. Hearing the screaming, the second kid runs after him and falls down the same tunnel, which leads to a creepy basement where they reunite with the third kid after she tried scaring one of them. We are then introduced to an old peddler who goes by the name Dauntless, but right off the bat you can tell who it is just by the voice.
Good! What other terrifying tidbits can I find?
Yeah, it's a Frizz in disguise, which they give away right away after the kids try to leave back to their class after being creeped out by Dauntless, who then says she can relate to a class and shows a picture of her students and points to Carlos, which starts out the first Magic School Bus episode titled In the Haunted House. In the Haunted House, the class are rehearsing for a musical. Each student is playing different instruments, but Carl is playing probably the weirdest instrument I've ever seen. It's literally just a bunch of shit plopped together for no reason whatsoever. So Miss Frizzle shows up, and the class get into the bus to head to a rehearsal for the musical at a museum. Carlos insists he needs more time, but Miss Frizzle is like, "Does it look like I give a fuck, you little shit?" That might not be accurate at all. But anyways, they get on the bus and Carlos still works on his instrument by adding stuff to it, but it keeps getting worse. So Carlo insists again that he needs more time, but Frizz is like, haha, fuck that, and floors it so fast it breaks the bus. No, literally, the bus overheats and Miss Frizz will try to check its temperature and cool it down with a giant water thing. I honestly don't know what they're called, and I'm way too lazy to research it. So the class is now stuck in the woods until the bus cools down. Unfortunately for them, they end up stuck there till nightfall, which is when the whole class decided to push the bus down the road in hopes they can find somewhere to phone a mechanic. Why they waited all day to do this, I got no goddamn idea. Anyways, they end up at an old haunted house that is making weird noises, so they decided to go inside. Once inside, the class tries to look for a phone when Miss Frizzle comes across a picture of Professor Cornelia C. Contralto. She then goes on to explain that Cornelia was a collector of sounds in the 1800s, but after her disappearance, as they call it, which is probably a kid-friendly way of saying her death, her mansion becomes a museum of sounds. Also, if it doesn't seem obvious yet, this episode teaches kids how sounds are made. Anyways, I am going to try to sum up the rest of the episode as quick as I can, as I don't want to focus on this part of the video for much longer. Miss Frizzle decides that her and the kids will stay tonight, which then leads me to wonder, what the fuck do the parents think of all of this? They're probably worried sick and wondering why all their kids never came home from school. All I know is, in real life, police will probably be called at this point. As Miss Frizzle says they're staying the night, Tim steps on a tile, which turns a wall and leads to a room with just enough beds for the kids and Miss Frizzle. Totally not creepy at all. They all go to bed, but Carlos decides to add more shit to his instrument again, and once again makes it sound worse. So he decides that the best thing to do is to summon the spirit of Cornelia C. Contralto. Cause yeah, that's what you want to do when you're in a giant spooky house. Fuck with ghosts. After that, the kids hear the same sound they heard when they arrived at the house, and Carlos decides to investigate as he wants a perfect sound for its instrument. As Carlos and the rest of the class get closer to the sound, they hear yodeling and go through a jungle room to find it. The kids get to the mountains, where it's revealed that the yodeling is Miss Frizzle, who sends the kids up a ski lift, which falls into a room of instruments, which is where they teach the viewers how sounds move through vibrations. At this point, Dorothy Ann pulls a string on a harp, which leads Carlos to realize that's a sound he needs. Eventually, the class heads back to the bedroom, where the candles get blown out, and Carlos finds a secret entrance in a wardrobe where you once again hear the strange sound. The kids follow the sound to find a strange door, and open it to find Contralto's great-great-granddaughter. Contralto tells Carlos in order to make his instrument sound better, he needed to remove a ton of the shit on there, so the instrument can vibrate more. After that, we cut to the next day at the Sound Museum, where the students are performing their piece, and Carlos' instrument sounds good for once, and then we transfer back to the live action segment. Now the kids are no longer scared of the sound, as they know it's just vibrations, so Dauntless releases them out of her bag. Just then, a tarantula appears on one of the kids' hands and scares them, but Dauntless assures him that the tarantulas are just slow-moving creatures and allows the kids to pet it, which makes him not scared of it anymore, which makes Dauntless say this.
This is one fear I don't need.
Don't need? Don't need for what?
Why, for what I do!
Immediately, one of the kids say, and that's what, scaring people for no reason? Dauntless then presents a bat, while responding with a bat pun.
Bats! For you to find out.
The girl then gets disgusted by the bat and claims they could be vampires. One of the other kids says no way, but Dauntless says how do you know, which the kids then says I got no idea. Dauntless then said another victim, aka one of her students, also didn't know, which leads into the second and last Badger School Bus episode of the special titled Going Batty. In Going Batty, Miss Frizzle is having parent-teacher night and is dressed up and acting like a vampire. This leads Ralphie to believe she is a vampire because of his insane imagination, and that she is acting similar to the vampires in his comic. Keisha, being the level-headed one, tells him he is insane, but then Miss Frizzle decided to take the parents on a little field trip and left the kids behind. Yes, leaving a bunch of kids alone at night outside is such a smart idea. What an ideal world these fucking people must be living in. Anyways, Miss Frizzle takes the parents to a scary castle for no reason. The kids follow the bus, thanks to Liz, who I just realized I have yet to mention in the video. Liz is Miss Frizzle's lizard. Liz drives them in a motorcycle, which has several sidecars to the castle, where Ralphie tries to convince everyone the Frizz is a vampire. Keisha, having enough, decides they have to see for themselves, so they go to the castle door, but the handle breaks. So they run up to a window to see Miss Frizzle drinking a glass of wine. As this is happening, mosquitoes start flying around, and eventually bats come out. Miss Frizzle gives the adults a tour of the castle, but after she has a conversation with Keisha's grandmother, who hears Keisha's voice outside about how bats protect their young, Ralphie mistakes some of what Miss Frizzle was saying, and now thinks she is going to feed them to bats. So he heads to the magic school bus, where they turn the bus into a bat and fly it around, while teaching kids about how bats fly around at night using echolocation. And they also turn themselves into bats in the process, which must have been painful, by the way. Also, how does this work scientifically? You know what, at this point I am not even going to question it anymore.
Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
As the kids are flying around, they hear Miss Frizzle saying, "At last, the moment I have been waiting for has come." So the kids fly back and are now believing what Ralphie is saying and go to save the parents. But once they get there, it is revealed that Miss Frizzle and all the parents are lying upside down like bats for, again, no reason. So everything turns out okay. The kids turn back to normal, the parents come out of the house, and the episode ends, and we return back to the live action segment for the final time. The special ends with the kids no longer being scared of the bat, and Dauntless exclaiming her job is done after the kids are over their fears and leaves, where it's revealed after she walks out the door, and you see the animation of the bus leaving, that Dauntless is really Miss Frizzle.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The kids say they have been frizzled and do one of those jump in the air high five freeze frames, and the special ends. So yes, that was a Magic School Bus Halloween, and hopefully some of y'all are still awake after sitting through all of that, because that was a lot to sum up. So I'm going to make what I think of the special very brief. In all honesty, the special isn't that bad. Yes, the live action stuff is a little cringy, and the quality of the VHS rip is quite low, which I can't really complain about, as the VHS version of the special is so rare that the special was considered lost media for years, so I really can't complain, and I'm just lucky that the special has been found in any shape, way, or form. But yes, the special is perfectly fine. It has a Halloween feel to it for sure. It finds a way to tie regular episodes of the show together pretty well, and it didn't feel lazy. All in all, this is a field trip worth taking. And finally, we have reached the end of the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was at least somewhat entertaining, and hopefully not as long as I am thinking it is while writing it. If you're new here and want to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button and ring that bell. Also, like this video and comment down below, as the more engagement my videos get, the better. Also, if you want a shout out like Ryan Smith at the end of all of my videos, then check out my Patreon by clicking the link below. Only $1 a month or more will get you exclusive perks, including early viewings of my videos. Anyways, I gotta get back to making more Halloween content, so see y'all next time. Take care.